Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Incredibles house from the movie Incredibles 1 and 2. If you enjoy this video, all I ask is that you please hit that like button as it really helps me out. And if you do enjoy the build, please consider sharing it with a friend. Maybe they'd like to make it too. But without any further ado, let's get started. So before we begin, I can tell you that this house will require a 42 block by a 23 block area to make, 42 blocks left to right and 23 blocks front to back. We will also require all of the materials that you can see in my hotbar and inventory right now. I do not think that I have missed any materials. However, I've been very wrong before. So please, pause the video if necessary, make sure that you have all of this stuff. I can't promise that we don't have everything that we need, and once you have got all this stuff, we can begin. So let's say that you have made this grid in your world because you want to better plan out your build. It's not a bad idea. Well, if you have built the grid, you want to start on the front left hand corner of it, and you want to count inwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, that way, if you've built the grid, we're both starting in the same place now. Isn't that nice? We then want to, on top of this block, place 2 black concrete. 1, 2. Then place a birch plank on top of that. And then a black concrete to the left. Place a birch plank on top, or a black concrete on top of the black concrete. And then a birch plank on top of that one. And then a black concrete to the left, and then 2 additional black concretes on top, 1, 2. I then want you to extend that second block both to the left by 2, 1, 2, but also to the right by 8, or by 7, specifically 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then place a birch plank underneath that 7th block, and then place another row of 7 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I then want you to do 2 things. First, extend that 7th block down to the ground, but also continue extending the 7th block by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place a glass underneath that 4th block, and then an additional 4 black concrete to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I then want you to place a glass underneath that 4th concrete, and then I want you to place 3 black concrete to the right. 1, 2, 3. Extend this row of 3 black concrete backwards by 1 row. Then place red concrete underneath the row. Extend the red concrete down to the ground on the left and the right. And then place a door right in the center. I want you to take the positioning of the bottom left red concrete, and I want you to the left of it, and then in front, so this block right here, I want you to place a light grey concrete in this position and extend that light grey concrete to the left until you hit the black concrete wall. On top of the light grey, stack an additional 2 rows of light grey. So this is going to be 1 row, and then 2 rows of light grey, just like that. We're then going to fill the upper half of this area in using glass pane, just like this. Perfect. We then, continuing left, we want to place, going left of this black concrete that hits the floor, I want you to place a birchwood plank to the left, and then a black concrete to the left of the plank. Go up by 3, 1, 2, 3. Go left by 8, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then connect down to the ground, like this. I then want you to fill the remaining area in using birchwood planks. So this is all around the garage. I don't want you to fill it inside of the black area that we have made, rather all of the space around it. Then using quartz stairs, I want you to fill in all of this empty space, one row behind the empty space, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle piece. You just want to fill up all of the empty space like this, and you don't want it to go anywhere else, and you just want it to sit inside just like that. Then place inside of this light grey concrete around the garage door, which is the quartz stairs. So basically light grey concrete all the way around the quartz, and then you see from the outside looking in, it actually looks kind of cool. You can, it's like the same colour but not. It's got a little bit of a tinge difference as you look at it, which is a very small detail but a nice one. So this is what we have so far, right, ladies and gentlemen? Not too bad. Well, next we want to do this. So this time, in front of the bottom front right hand corner of the door, so bottom front right hand corner of the door, I want you to go to the right of the corner block, and then in front, and I want you to place a grey concrete. And on top of this grey concrete, I want you to place 5 additional grey concrete. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. I want you to extend this row to the right by 1 row. And then I want you to extend this grey concrete forwards by 2 rows. So this is all of the grey concrete, that's 1 row, and then we're going to do 2 rows as well, like this. So that's what you want to have in total. Grab your stone slabs and place stone slabs in front of the top front of what you've made and the back top of what you've made. You want these stone slabs on both sides, like that. Then moving right of the ginormous chimney-ish sort of thing that we've just made. I'm not 100% sure what it is. I think it's just like aesthetic. I don't think it's supposed to be anything other than, you know, something that looks good. I want you to grab the birch planks, and I want you to take the back right hand side of what we've made, and I want you to go right of it by 4 using birch planks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on top of this row of birch planks, I want you to place 2 additional rows. So that's 1, 2 additional rows of birch planks. And then I want you to place 2 rows of glass to the right of this. So that's 1 row of glass, and then this will be 2 rows of glass. Then I want you to place 2 rows of birch planks, 1, 2, and then back and to the right, I want you to place a row of light grey concrete, like this. And then front and right in relation to the concrete, I want you to place 2 rows of birch planks. 1, 2. And then 2 rows of glass. 1, and then 2. And then I want you to place 3 rows of birchwood planks. So that'll be 1, 2, and 3 coming to the outline. And then we want to build them up as high as the glass itself. So in total, we want to have something which should look exactly like this. And that is perfect, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly what we want to have so far. So, next point. I want you to place glass pane on top of all of this. All of it. So, on top of all of the birchwood planks, all of the pre-existing glass, the empty space that we have in between here, and then continuing on top of the glass and birchwood planks still. So we want to have this. And the purpose of this is very simple. We want to place, starting from the left on top of the glass, we want to place a row of 4 black concrete. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then place a glass to the right of the 4th concrete, and then a concrete on top. And extend it to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then a glass pane to the right, black concrete on top, and then right by 3. 1, 2, 3. A glass to the right, black concrete on top, and then extend to the right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, in total, we will have something which should look like that, which is looking pretty good if I do say so myself. Now, the next point of this is we want to raise up all of the glass, and notice I say raise up. Don't create any additional places for glass to be, just raise it up. And what I mean by that is don't create additional places. I don't want you to place any glass like underneath these overhanging end parts. I only want it extended upwards for a very specific reason, otherwise it will look weird. That's the specific reason. So once you have done that, I now want you to build the rest of this by extending the right side of the build, which means all of this birchwood plankage here, right? I want you to take the last row of birchwood planks that we placed, and I want you to extend it backwards by 13 rows. That's 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Like that. And all of the birchwood planks want to get extended backwards. So not just that first row, but all of the other rows as well. But here's the thing as well. Not only do we want the birchwood planks extended back, but the glass on top of it also. So you can do yourself a favor and just extend up all of that glass. I think that there's quite a few rows of it, like 3 rows, 4 rows, something like that. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all of the glass wants extending it back, no matter how many rows there are. So in total, we want to have this. Now, once you have got that sorted out, we want to extend across the back of the build now, right? We want to take that 13th row of birchwood planks and we want to extend it to the right by 15. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then place 2 additional rows on top. You can see it stays consistent throughout the entire build, just like this. I then want you to place, to the right of the birchwood plank rows, I want you to place 2 rows of grey concrete, 1, 2, and I want you to add 3 rows on top of these. So that's going to look like 1, 2, 3. And I want you to place black concrete on top of that. So on top of the 3 rows of grey concrete, 2 rows of black, you guys can see what I'm on about. Next, I want you to take the bottom right hand side of the grey concrete and 1 row inwards here, and to the right, I want you to place a red concrete. Extend it up by 2, 1, 2, right by 2, 1, 2, and then hit the ground. This is a back entrance to the house which will be filled in using an dark oak door. Then, to the right and in front of the red concrete, I want you to place in front of, to the right, a light grey concrete row, and I want you to extend it right by 7 rows. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Add 2 rows on top, so this is going to be 1 row, and then 2 rows on top, just like this. I then want you to place in front of and to the right of this, again, in front of, to the right of the row of light grey, so here, I want you to place 6 black concrete coming up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I want you to extend that black concrete to the right, also by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Place a birch plank going right, black concrete on top, extend the black concrete to the right by 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend that 7th block down to the ground by 2, 1, 2. And also extend that 7th block to the right by 2 as well, 1, 2. I then want you to take the lower 2nd block and I want you to place a birchwood plank to the left of it, and then a black concrete underneath, and then down, birchwood plank to the left, black concrete connecting it down to the ground, And what we will have created, it should look exactly like this, which looks a little bit weird now, perhaps, but once you have done that, we can now move on to the next bit. So the next bit's quite simple. I want you to fill in this right side completely with birchwood planks. So we're just going to fill in this right completely open area in using birchwood planks. There's not too much more to it whatsoever. Just like this. Now, here's the next thing. The next thing is, I want you to take if we come to the front of the build, you can see how we have the black roof, right? You can see it's kind of like a weird shape. It like goes up, down, up again. I want you to take the black roof and I want you to extend it towards the back of the house. So this is the upper horizontal-ish row of black concrete. I want you to extend the entire thing towards the back of the build. And the black concrete wants to all stop in the same place. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean by the same place. Because there's going to be parts where it's not going to connect to anything like it's going to here. Like here, you see it's kind of stopped by itself, right? It eventually connects to the back. But if I give you a for instance, like this row above the door, this row of 3, this will not be stopped by anything. This will just keep going and going and going if you let it. But we want it to stop here. So you can see it's one row behind it. We want it to stop where it stops over there on the right, if that makes sense. So it wants to stop here, which is in line with the rest of the build on the back. So again, like this particular row isn't going to be stopped by anything, but all of the black concrete wants to get extended back, and it all wants to stop in the same place. And that same place, once we get to it, it's not going to be too long, is going to be here, which you can see is like the edge of the house to the right. So what I want you to do, I've just explained it, I want you to take all of the black concrete of the roof and I want you to extend it all the way back until it all stops in the same place. And what that's going to do is it's going to give the back of the house a very clear framework. So from there, we'll be able to add in other bits of material that would have been weird to add in otherwise. I'll show you what I mean in a sec, but fill in the roof with black concrete, extend it from the front to the back. You'll see what I'm talking about just by looking at it. Let's do it. Just like that. So you can see that the entire roof has been extended backwards. And what this does is it allows us to now place glass above the light grey concrete part right of the door. It allows us to place glass like this. The same goes for this left part where we have all of the birch wood plank area. All of this can now be filled in with glass, whereas previously we were a little bit lost. Like, how were we supposed to fill in all of this empty space? Well, there you go. We just had to wait for the roof. just like this. Now, the only thing that's bothering me at the moment is if you see here, like where we have this glass, I want you to come to the inside of the build, and I want you to add a row of black concrete here to give the glass something to grip onto. The same doesn't have to be on the front because it already grips onto something. But now from the outside looking in, that looks a little bit better. Now the left side of the build, it actually is, it's not the right side of the build, the left side of the build wants to be sealed up using birchwood planks. So you want to connect the black concrete rows on the left, on the right, basically front to back. You want to connect the house together using birchwood planks. And now you see, once you've completed this part right here, you'll be surprisingly done with the house. The only things that I'm going to recommend that you will add, or maybe you won't add, the only things I would recommend myself adding is some paths and some plants and stuff. So, once you have sealed up that left side of the house, by the way, there we go, you might want to also add a little bit of a path coming out of the back of the house, you know, maybe like a stone slab path. Not essential, just a very small detail that you may or may not want to add. Something else that you might want to do. Now, I didn't anticipate having a load of concrete where I would have preferred to have grass. So I've just got to very quickly just clean up all of this concrete and place grass here because there's a lot of like plant life on the front of the Incredibles house, and whilst I haven't seen the back because no pictures exist of it, I'm going to expect that there's also a similar deal on the back as well. So I'm just going to plant some grass on the back too, just to kind of like go in line with the front of the house. And that's the back of the house pretty much done at that. So if we come to the front of the house, we do have a couple of things to do though. The front of the house, we have to take the roof and we have to extend it one row towards us. So that's all of the black concrete, the top part of the roof. We have to extend it one row towards us so that it overhangs the, well, everything else, like all of the walls and stuff. Like, it will just look a little bit better if the entire thing overhangs by one row. It's, you know, that's like classic building 101, just like make sure that the roof overhangs and it looks a little bit better. There you go, it's looking a bit more professional. I'm going to recommend that you have a path that's out in front of your house. So out in front of the front door, I'm going to knock out a 3-block path that comes out 2 rows in front of the grey pillar that we have to the right of us. And the path is best colour matched, I think, using stone slabs like this. And the path is going to just wrap around the pillar on the right there. And then the last 3 rows of the path is going to dig all the way to the right, so the last 3 rows, leaving a 1-block gap just in front of the house. It wants to connect to the garage, the path does, and we of course want to have a row of stone slabs dug into the garage here. We want to have stone slabs there, but we want to have a 1-row gap just like between the front door and the garage, and in here, once again, we're just going to stack some tall grass. Some double tall grass in some places might actually be applied. I thought that you could actually just place it on top, but I was wrong. I'm going to have a driveway. Oh, I wanted the last 3 rows, didn't I? I want the last 3 rows of the path to extend all the way left to the garage, and that will create a path that leads to the driveway, which is quite important. So these last 3 rows, stone slabs, this is going to lead to the drive, and we will also create the drive as well. So I'm digging out those last 3 rows. You can see how that all connects together. And then I'm going to dig from the, how far do I want this to go? I want it to be from here, coming all the way left. So from basically the very right of the garage to the very left of the garage, I'm going to completely dig out all of this empty space, and I'm going to replace it using stone slabs. And that's pretty much going to be that for the left part of the house here. There's not going to be too much more to it. So all of this, stone slabs, shall be the garage driveway, which will lead to the path, which is made out the same thing, which leads to the front door. It looks a bit more professional like that. I'm going to plant some tall grass in front of the windows to the right. Another small detail that one can make if you decide to. And again, like I've got concrete everywhere, which is actually kind of like a hindrance at the moment, but you might not have that if you didn't also create the grid in your world. And funnily enough, you can see where we have like this square area or rectangular area of green concrete. I'm going to replace all of the grass and the green concrete, and I'm going to replace it all using lime terracotta. And I would also prefer it if some of my bushes were double tall. Where are we? Yeah, double tall grass. So can I just place it on top? I can just place it on top. I'd prefer if there was a little bit of variance with it. So something like that. That looks kind of good, you know, just to kind of like break it up a little bit. So all in all, I'm going to get rid of all the grass in front of the house. I'm going to replace it with lime terracotta. I'm going to dig up all the numbers because they're stupid at this point. And once we have done all of those, they're not stupid, but I just don't want them ruining the look of the house. And I'm going to do all that, and then I'll be back in a second, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm sure that I don't need to show you how to remove grass and replace it with lime terracotta. Whack in a moment. So this is what your Incredibles house should look like once it has been 100% fully completed. You can see I've removed all of the numbers and the grid and stuff, and I have replaced the grass out front with lime terracotta just because it looks a little bit cleaner and it helps separate it from the environment. And that is that, ladies and gents. I do hope that you have enjoyed the tutorial. If you have, please do remember to hit that like. I'd really appreciate that. It helps me and the channel out immensely. And if you have made it this far in the tutorial, please share the video with a friend. I bet that they'd love it too. If you would like to keep up to date with the channel and the builds, please check out, please subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you do have any suggestions, by the way, leave them down below. And I know there's a lot of ands here. If you would like to check out anything else by me, check out the card system and the description below, because that is going to allow you to make all sorts of crazy stuff. I have done so many builds of so many different kinds: modern, survival, cartoon, movie, everything guys. Check out the card system description below for all of that fun stuff. I've asked a lot of you. I'm going to stop now. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you so much. I really do. I love all of the support that you guys give me. It helps me out so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!